Hello, it's Miss Morgan, and we're going to get this history feudalism party started right now. Thanks to Jesta from my 2016-17 group of students for that video suggestion. Anyway, you need a green pen or a writing utensil that's a different color than your notes because you're going to need to add to your notes and fix them with this video. It is possible that at some points I will go faster than you can keep up with and write. That is because I'm trying to make this video not too long. And if that is the case, then you need to press that pause button and write down what you need and then unpause it when you're ready to move on with the video. Okay, so get your pens ready to fix and add to your Chapter 7, Section 2 notes. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is when you see number 1 with the circle and the star, that is because it is going to be on the test at the end of the unit, this exact question. I may change evolve to develop, but this question will be on the test and it will be in written form just like this. Okay, so I would highlight and write on test for number 1. And I'm not trying to fool you or anything. I am dead serious, 100%. I'm going to ask this question, and it needs to have 3 parts to your answer. The first part, invasions by these groups of people. You need to mention that. Second, you need to mention that the kings and emperors were too weak to keep order. If they had been able to keep order, if they were strong enough, feudalism wouldn't need to be developed because the invaders would have been stopped. But unfortunately for the kings and emperors at this time, they were not that strong, and so they needed a plan B. And people needed protection for themselves, homes, and land. So you need to make sure that your facts for this number 1 are very similar to what I have because, like I said, it is on the test at the end of the chapter. Moving on, we have obligations between lords and vassals. So the rest of this page in this section is going to talk about what the lords gave to the vassals and vice versa. Okay, so the fill-in is right there. You have that, and then you have the feudal contract. The lord is going to owe things to the vassal as part of the feudal contract. It may be a good idea to highlight feudal contract, but that's just a suggestion, so it stands out a little bit when you go to study for the test. So you should have something about giving a vassal a fief, okay? And that's an estate. You have that definition on a piece of paper that you filled in for definitions for this section. So the fief is something a vassal would get, and then in parentheses and underlined in green, you see what exactly a fief might involve. All right, so that it was land, and then it could involve people, buildings, towns, a whole variety of things. That was one thing. Second, protection. All right, so the lord owes the vassal protection. This did not come for free. The vassal owed some things to the lord. So we have military service and money payments and advice. All right, so the vassal might be like an advisor for the lord. All right, if I'm going too fast, just press pause, catch up, and move on to page 2. All right, so this first section here talks about complicated feudal relationships. So part of the issue was that you had lords, and the lords had vassals. Okay, so a lord, maybe this little guy is the vassal to this lord. That's fine, but let's say I forgot to get a third person. Let's say we have another lord here, the pencil. It's the best I could do right here. This guy is a vassal to this lord and this lord. What if these two lords fight? What's the guy in the middle going to do? He's stuck in the middle, right? What's he going to do? Good question. He had a lord that he was loyal to first called a liege lord, Liege. Let's pretend this is the liege lord. So this one, these two get in a squabble. This one's going to align with this one because this is the number 1 lord. So that's something to that effect should be your answer for number 4. Some people were so-so on this part, so you may need to pause it and write in some of this information. And this song goes with the topic.
This is my recital. I think it's very vital to rock around. That's right. On top. It's tricky. It's uptight. Here we go. It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. It's tricky. 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 It's tricky to rock around. To rock around. That's right. On time. It's tricky. 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 I met this little girlie.
All right. Her hair was kind of curly, and then it goes on. All right, what I want you to do is over here, I want you to write Run DMC. That's the group that sang that song. It's tricky, right? Run DMC right here. All right, so we're going to move on to the info on nights. I filled in a lot of this for you. So here's some of the night info. We'll start with this. 7 years is about the age of a second grader, like my youngest son is in 2017. They did not go to school like you all did at that age, as did I. Okay, it was a little different. So they were sent away to train to be a knight around the equivalent of second grade, but it's not like they're second grade dropouts. It's just the way people were educated and taught things was different in the Middle Ages than it is in 2017. Okay, so we have more information about the knight. We have punished for laziness, very strict. So, it was not easy to train to be a knight. So we have that. Remember, pause it if you need to, if I'm going too fast. All right, I gave you all this stuff. Defense. The construction of castles changed over time. And then here we go, number 9. Some people need to fix number 9. If you have this information, near river crossings, harbors, mountain passes, that's an abbreviation for mountain, those are the right answers. Anything with a good geographic location was vulnerable to being seized because people wanted it. It was in a hot spot, so that was what they wanted. So that's number 9. Moving on, we have number 10. Okay, so what happens with number 10 is some people write some of their answer on the 3rd page. So you should probably look at the bottom of page 10 and the top of page, the bottom of page 2 and the top of page 3 to see if you have this information on pages 2 and 3. I consolidated, put it on one page. So the key thing is some people did not write this. They wrote this. If husband gone fighting took over their duties, such as the bullets listed here. Okay, the way a lot of you wrote it, it was not clear that you understood that these are things that the women did when the men, like their husband, might go away fighting and the woman had to take over some responsibilities at the castle. Okay, so you need to make sure you understand that that's why they perform these tasks. This is different from their training, which is on page 3. And I'm going to move on to page 3. If you are not done with page 2, press the pause button. All right, I'm moving on to page 3, and you will eventually as well. So page 3, not so fast. Here's a visual of the society. You're going to get a paper with some different visuals of how feudalism was structured. King, lords, lesser lords are vassals. There was 2 different layers to that social class. Lords are the same as nobles. And then we have knights and peasants. So this is a little visual. It's good because it shows how there's lords and lesser lords and that there's more than one layer to that social class. All right, so here are some other things women might do that I have on my page 3. Okay, so the daughters of noble women and noble men also were sent away for training. And their training is listed right here in the 2nd bullet. Only some learn to read and write. So if you wrote that on your page, if you wrote the fact that learn to read or write on your page, you should add some before it because it was not all women. It was definitely not peasant women. All right, so we have knights and chivalry. And here's some facts about that. And this is just like a code of conduct. If you're an athlete, then it's like being a good sport. This is like a code of sportsmanship for knights. And so it's just the expectations that existed for these knights who were fighting against other knights and so forth. Okay, so if you need to pause it, press pause if I'm going too fast. I just don't want the video to, this is trying to make